Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show. I am your host, Matrix Story 212, and I'm with Scott. What's up, Scott?
Hello, all.
What's up, Chris?
What's up?
Okay, I was genuinely shocked that I would love this movie so much. But then again, how could you? Because when I went to see it, I heard it was good, you know? But this, for me,
Alan Heinberg and Zack Snyder, they said. Basically, Snyder did the screenplay, and the writers were Heinberg.
Okay, well, I got to tell you, I loved this movie. This is, to me, and this is my opinion, all right up there with, like, Superman 2, Superman, the first one, 1 and 2, Batman, like,
version.
And also, like, Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Like, this is, like, top for me for DC. Now,
it was good. I loved it.
As far as the category goes about the new DC Cinematic Universe, with, all the other entries, this was my favorite movie of all the movies from the DC Cinematic Universe. I like this way better than Man of Steel. I like this way better than Batman vs. Superman, because I don't really like Batman vs. Superman. Had a problem with Man of Steel with the snapping of the neck. Liked it way better than Suicide Squad. So for me, this is my favorite movie for the DC Cinematic Universe. And I also am so motivated with this that she is now finally, it was always Batman, Superman, Batman, Superman, Batman. Now finally there's something else in the movie territory that she does well. She's going to have sequels. We're going to be interested in seeing sequels. And
did you love the twist on who?
Well, I don't want to give spoilers. You saw it? Well, Chris, you
I saw it.
All right. Spoilers for anybody. We're about to break some territory here.
My hand is up.
I don't want to say spoilers too much, but
when my hand goes down,
go ahead.
That was your.
Don't listen to this now if you didn't see Wonder Woman. Go ahead.
5, 3. All right. Boom. The twist on who Ares was perfect.
I loved it. In fact, I love this movie so much.
And the fact that you always saw, and at the end, and near the end, where you see him sort of ghosting behind all those individuals in question, just whispering in their ear.
I'm not going to rate it, but I had no problem with any part of this movie at all, and I could watch this over and over and over again. And I'm finally now, I'll make this as part of my collection. I'll go see the sequels. So I'm so positive now towards Wonder Woman character and her. She was perfect in the role. I look forward to her in Justice League and everything else. What do you have to say, Scott?
This should have been the movie they did before Batman v Superman.
They shouldn't even do Batman v Superman.
They should have. Batman v Superman was meh. I admit. I'll contest to that. But to me, they should have had this movie, then Batman v Superman, or they should have waited until they did the Batman movie and then do Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
Either way, this should have been either the second or third movie before Batman versus Superman. And that Batman v Superman should have been the fourth one out.
Yeah. Did you want to say anything about it, Chris, or no? Not really?
Not really.
All right. I do want to say something else that was really upsetting to me today. Adam West passed away.
Yeah, I read that.
Devastating, because I loved, that's my first Batman when I was a kid, and I'm destroyed about it. I was not happy about it. I was just miserable all day about it.
And he revealed I forget, about several months ago, he revealed of all the people that played Batman, he's the one who's the actual proper size for Batman.
Yeah. So
because they said one time Batman is blah blah blah. He revealed that he's the actual height for Batman. So
yeah,
that was sort of cool.
We had some other stuff that happened in the news today. Do you want to talk about anything, Chris? Or
to be honest with you, I haven't really been keeping up with it today, so you can go ahead.
So here's another big story that I wanted to talk about.
Right off the phone.
And again, people, I don't know what they're going to think of this, but if I could just say possibly that I told you so, I'm going to say it. Ivan Reitman. I think Chris knows what I'm going to say. You know what I'm going to say? Chris, Ivan Reitman, following the Dan Aykroyd's comments, blah, 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 Ivan Reitman wants to have a United Ghostbusters movie, and he wants to, he wants that movie. Where, who said that they should do that even before the comics?
Think of their name, Joe.
I don't know, like Matrix 1, 2, and 2 maybe?
Their name was right on the tip of my tongue, Joe. I just can't think of their name, Joe.
Before the comic crossover, I says that they're going to do it. They got to do it. That's got to be a sequel. Well, technically, I guess the only way we can see the girls return is if they do a United movie, which technically is a sequel, kind of, because they're in it. So he's going to do everything in his power to get somehow he doesn't like it that there's dissension in the ranks, Dan Aykroyd, and so somehow we're going to have a United Ghostbusters movie if they can get it going, and Paul Feig's probably going to be a part of that somehow. So again, I guess Dan Aykroyd was wrong in that sense, and I'm not doing it as a slight to Dan Aykroyd, but if there's an opportunity for us to see the original Ghostbusters, and if they're going to be with the girls, absolutely. Nobody would say no. Even the haters.
I would.
You would?
I would, absolutely.
Why?
Because nobody wants to see that.
You don't think so? With the original Ghostbusters?
No, because you know what they're going to do.
Come on!
They're going to... No,
stop!
Okay, let's look at the facts here. Let's look at the facts here. Wait, let's look at the facts here, okay?
Yeah.
First Ghostbusters rebooted movie, 2016, fails.
Right. It kind of
fails.
Lost some money.
Fails. It failed. It failed. 25 million to 75 million loss is a failure.
Well, but Sony says 25 million. But okay.
Well, yeah, it failed. Okay. Dan Aykroyd, basically the father of this, along with Harold Ramis, says he liked the movie, but it's not feasible to make a sequel.
No, he said it was funnier than the original Ghostbusters movie. He said this in the past.
And what else? What did he say in that? Hold on. What did he say in that last interview?
I know he said in the last.
It's not economically feasible to make a sequel.
That's what he said. Okay.
A majority of the fan base hates this movie.
Well,
with a passion.
I would say about half.
Yeah, maybe. Bro.
Not more than half.
So they bring back the original Ghostbusters along with the girls.
Right.
Okay. What do you think they're going to do to the original Ghostbusters? Do you think that they're going to be used correctly?
Yes.
No.
No?
They're going to push the girls.
I don't know.
It's going to be – it's the thing. We got to push the girls because they're going to be the ones that make the sequel.
No.
If they can. Yes.
You want to know why?
Why?
Because this is going to be the Ghostbusters cinematic universe first movie type of thing.
You can't have a cinematic universe no, hold on. Let me finish. You can't have a cinematic universe when your first movie loses $25 million.
It's not the first movie. Because
it is the first movie.
Dracula Untold was not the first movie for Universal, even though
this is the Ghostbusters movie. This is what they wanted to start it off.
Well, now this would start off a cinematic universe. Because this would be multi-universe theory and different Ghostbusters from different universes and different Ghostbusters in the same universe fighting different all over the world. This would open up the doors for them to do another team in the girls' universe, maybe another team in the original universe. Maybe Oscar takes over with his friends, which I would envision.
But you notice, though, that all of this is trying to focus away from the story that they were telling in the 2016 one, because they can't make a sequel out of that because it sucked.
Not really, because here's the thing, right? If you think that the original Ghostbusters didn't happen, like, it's definitely a thing where it's a multi-universe thing. I mean, everybody believes nowadays when they do stuff, they don't even explain stuff anymore, and people are like, "Oh, it's another universe," like, because it's so much out there that they've done so much things with sci-fi about it, so much things about real life stuff that they said that there's multiple universes, all these different things. So it's accepted now. So if they fight Zool and Zool's like, well, who the hell are you guys? Or Gozer, you're not the Ghostbusters. Then it could be that they're multi-dimensional, multi-universes. But
sure. But
and that would explain
they had
everything.
the actors from the first one in this 2016 one, and they used them
they
as a joke.
But again, they weren't the actual.
I know, but how are you going to be like, oh yeah, Penny's uncle looks exactly like this character? That's pretty lame.
I mean, they had something like that in Primeval. I mean, but that's another show. But I'm just saying, like, it's different universes, different rules, whatever. I mean, stuff happens.
A Slider-esque type of setup.
Listen, or they could just do a thing where, I mean, maybe ludicrous to say, but they could say that the government made everybody forget and put Men in Black in there, and then you get them a whole.
Well, I would like if the government could make everybody forget the Ghostbusters.
Men in Black.
Like,
no, I'm saying.
I don't think people would go for that.
Maybe Men in Black, like they erased everybody's minds of the original Ghostbusters.
Wait. They've already ruined one franchise.
Listen,
let's not let them ruin
two. You know what?
Two.
I'm just trying to throw stuff out there.
Because
obviously, Holtzman is going to create a dimensional gateway, or Dan Aykroyd is going to, Ray's going to create a dimensional gateway. So, and they're going to interact with each other. That's probably.
I'd love to see what they're going to do with a $15 budget.
Here you go.
Well, I have a feeling it would be a bigger budget because they're all in it.
After you lose $25 million?
Because this is not it's technically the girls and the original Ghostbusters.
Yeah, but do you know how the movie industry works, though?
Well, we sometimes get sequels to things that we don't expect. Sometimes,
of course.
Sometimes, like Paramount Pictures, there was Star Trek movies that bombed so bad it should have been finished. But because of the respect of all the years that Star Trek was on TV and Star Trek movie, they actually says, no, you know what? Even though there shouldn't be a sequel, we are going ahead and risking it all, and that's it. And then we keep getting more and more sequels. Same thing, like, people may say Star Trek Beyond. People may say Star Trek Beyond, maybe it's not a hit or whatever. They're going ahead with it anyway, and sometimes they make an executive decision. Stuff gets sequel you don't even believe, like a Riddick movie or something, and then boom, it's out there. So, to me, they made a lot of money with merchandising. They made a lot of money with everything else. I still see Slimer in freaking Times Square. So it's making them
Slimer. It's
making them money though. The girl, they keep showing the girls in Times Square constantly with Madame Tussauds with Slimer. So it's making them money. So you got to make an executive decision. Okay, we lost $25 million, but we gained $300, $400 million in merchandise. You know what? Just like Power Rangers is going to get a sequel, not because the movie did great, because the movie bombed, but because the merchandise is making it get a sequel. So guess what? That's what's going to make Ghostbusters get a sequel. It's because
they're not going to put that money into the movie, though.
They're definitely
because that's a different department. It's a different. You don't get to put all of that money into the movie because it's from merchandise. It's a totally different set of the company.
We're gonna have to see
if they want to lose another $25 million, hey, go for it, Sony.
But they may not this time.
First of all, we don't even know if this movie's actually being made. Ivan Reitman can say whatever he wants, but if the brass at Sony says $25 million, if that's the real number, we lost $25 million. It's not going to happen.
I'm pretty sure, because here's the thing. Regardless of whether it lost money or not, which they're saying it's not as big as we think, right? They don't like it when anybody speaks out for the company for themselves. They get a little annoyed with stuff like that. So they're not happy that he said that, Dan Aykroyd. And it's not anything against him, but they'll probably flat out do it to just show that it's not true.
That's a stupid reason to make a movie.
But here's the thing, though. I'm not saying that that's a reason, but I'm saying that he's Dan Aykroyd. He can't say that Sony's not going to have Paul Feig do any other movies. That's his opinion. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, they said they have plans to do movies with him with other stuff. So, I mean, he's welcome on. That's ridiculous. I mean, he's just throwing stuff in there that has nothing, that he has no control of. He's not a Sony executive to say that. Now, again, I love Dan Aykroyd, don't get me wrong, and I think he's great, but he has had fights with Bill Murray. He had fights with just about everybody over stupid things because he comes out and he says things that are just ludicrous or whatever, and it happens. Okay, and I'm not saying anything that, oh my God, because Bill Murray would probably be the first one to tell him off in a week or so, and I'm sure Bill Murray's going to come out with a comment too that's going to say that's baloney too. Now, I'm not sure if he's going to say that because he's friends with Melissa McCarthy and all the girls and all that, but it's a thing where we could have had a Ghostbusters 3 if they actually got this stuff together to write the script where it would work. But I guess they didn't write scripts, and Bill Murray wouldn't even look at it. Now, because he wouldn't look at it, they needed his decision. So it's not anybody's fault. Like, it's not like, oh, they screwed over the original Ghostbusters. They could not do it until they paid off everybody. And then when they paid off everybody, they're like, yeah, you know what? We're going to do a reboot. So, I mean, again, people are they're blaming Sony and they're blaming Paul Feig and they're blaming everybody why they couldn't get an original Ghostbuster movie, but they don't look in the inner thing. Bill Murray didn't want to do it. Then they were infighting, and then Dan Aykroyd was writing certain things, and like, oh, we could do. There was even one point in time where Dan Aykroyd's like, yeah, we could do it without Bill, and it's like, no, dude, you can't. No, and that was out there. You know what was out there, because I was pissed about that. There was like a whole thing. Oh, we could do it without him. No, not really. No. I don't think so. So they kind of the infighting with themselves is the reason why there was no Ghostbusters 3. So let's not blame Sony and let's not blame Paul Feig. It was a thing where they wanted to do a movie. They just paid Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray a lot of money to get the rights to do it. So we don't hear about how much they got because they don't want anybody to know, which is unfortunate because Dan Aykroyd's spewing stuff from his mouth, but then he won't tell anybody how much he got or anybody else got to do that movie. So they want to make a movie. They want to bring it back. So you know what? They made a decision. Amy Pascal, okay, Paul Feig, and you know what? Dan Aykroyd didn't have any say because he wasn't a producer, wasn't a director, and they did what they wanted to do. That's it. Maybe they didn't want his opinion because maybe there was still type of some infighting with him and Bill Murray. Who the hell knows? Who knows? I mean, I wouldn't want to see a movie where Bill Murray was killed off. Or Bill Murray, they do a Ghostbusters with Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson. Like, that's ridiculous. So I'm not, I'm just saying, Chris, there's other things in the background that.
Well, no, I agree with you. I agree with you about. I don't blame Sony and them for not making Ghostbusters 3. I blame Sony and Paul Feig for making a crappy movie where they could have made a better film that actually respected the other franchise, the original one, instead of making a reboot to try and do a cash grab and say, oh, we're going to do a cinematic universe.
But
they
could have done it better. Backed them 100%. He said stuff like it was funnier than Ghostbusters.
Yes, but he's going to say that. He's going to say that even if it's not his opinion, because he's not going to come out and be like, this movie sucks.
So he's lying.
Terrible.
And then he's going to say the truth.
No, I think he actually likes the movie. But even if he didn't
like it as much as he's saying, I think, Chris.
Right. Even if he didn't. Right? Because you heard in his interview, he said, we asked him to shoot scenes.
No, he asked him. Yes. This is the point. This is the point.
But hold on. But what? Hold on. What did he say? He said we did the test screenings and they needed them.
But
so they went back and shot them.
There was no we. He asked.
But then what did he say? He said, I asked him to shoot them, or we asked him to shoot them, whatever. And he said they needed the scenes, and what did they do? They went back and shot them with the scenes.
Right.
So obviously they were listening to him at some point.
Well, here's the thing. First of all, let's talk about the scene that they're talking about. There was also, besides the $3 or $4 million that was spent on reshoots, right?
If that's what it was.
There was a $1 million scene where they were all dancing that they cut from the movie. That really you don't need it because it's not going to do ghosts anyway. It was just stupid. But, I mean, it was funny, but it's not, whatever. But that was a loss of $1 million. I do admit that. And even Paul Feig admits that he cost them $1 million. $1 million with that nonsense cutting it. But, I mean, they don't really go into detail what scenes they're talking about that really, oh my God, save the movie. So, I don't know. I mean, I just, nobody's coming out with the truth, really. So you don't know what to believe. I mean,
give it about, I'm going to say, if they don't do, whether they do another movie or not, all right, give it about 5-6 years after this movie's been done, and then they'll probably say something either in the Blu-ray edition saying this is why we did this, and these were the scenes that were cut, and this was the reason why.
I'm going to say beyond a shadow of a doubt there's going to be a live-action Ghostbusters movie by 2020. I'm going to tell you right now. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. There's problems now with the animation. They got to delay it. It's not coming out in 2018. There's no definitive thing if it's coming out in 2019, and they're not even talking about the animated series because the animated series is right now on hold too. So they need to have a Ghostbuster movie out. This company, they want to have something, even if they do a Chris Pratt and whatever or some crap. They're gonna have something out of Ghostbuster movie in 2020 at least, or before or 2020, because this is a cash. They could make a lot of money with this movie if they do it right. And they gotta get everybody's heads together.
Like you said, even like we've all said, even if they do a movie where they're handing the torch off to other people, people would have welcomed that.
That's what they should have done. That's what this movie should have been, because that way you pay respect to the original franchise, you pay respect to the originators, and then you pass it on to this next generation where you have this generation carry on the sequels and they become the Ghostbusters for this new generation.
Do you understand they couldn't do it because Bill Murray refused to play his original character?
No, but you know what then? Then he's not in it.
But
then
you
you
can't
go with
do
the others.
that.
Yes, they could have. They could have done it. They don't need him there if they're going to introduce these new characters. You're going to bring them back for these idiotic characters. You're going to have Bill Murray get thrown out the friggin' window, and
that's what he
Dan
wanted.
Aykroyd's going to be a taxi driver. I mean, give me a break.
That's what Bill Murray wanted to do.
Well, then Bill Murray's an idiot. You know, I'm sorry. That's my opinion. If you're not going to come back to, they're trying to bring back the franchise, and you don't want to come back to do it. And let me tell you something. If Harrison Ford would have done that too, I would have called him an idiot too. But he at least had the decency to say, you know what? Yeah, they're moving it on. I'm going to come back.
But it's not just Bill Murray. They had to pay Dan Aykroyd off too.
Of course.
To allow them. But if you don't pay them off, they could just be the characters in the movie. But why should they get? Here's the thing, right? They could have been in the movie. They don't want to do it, right? So they don't want to play Ray Stantz. They don't want to be Peter Venkman. Nobody wants to do it, right? The only people who have power is Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray, right? So they got millions of dollars each to let them do a movie. Now they're going to put them in the movie as the same characters when they wanted them in there in the first place, and they just got millions not to be those characters? You understand what I'm saying? Then be the characters then. Then Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd are their characters. They do a thing passing off the torch, but because they wanted money and they don't want to do that, then how could they get paid twice? So they got their money, and you know what? You're going to be cameos then because you don't want to be it. So now you're going to be a taxi driver, and Bill Murray was completely fine with it because he wouldn't accept the money otherwise. So, I mean, they didn't want it. That's what I'm trying to say. As much as Dan Aykroyd's like, then don't take the money then. Let them do it. Give them permission to do it, and you're Ray Stantz. You understand what I'm saying, Chris?
Yeah, but they could have still set it in the same universe, just not have those characters in it. And then I guarantee you, when the next one came out, if it was set in the same universe, they would have come back for the next one as those characters that they wanted.
Dan Aykroyd thinks that somehow, even if they made this movie, that he was going to do another Ghostbusters anyway, a free. He had it in his head. So that's why they didn't want to connect the universe.
Well, that's stupid. That is absolutely the dumbest move that they could have made.
But it's Sony is only look. If you ask them a million times and they said absolutely not, and they want to do a movie, what are they going to do? Here's some money. We're going to do it now. Right?
Okay, so then you do the movie, but having this in the original universe wasn't the only problem with the film. The writing was terrible. The humor was terrible. They needed to make this stuff better. And to this day, nobody has come out with a good explanation as to why the whole team was female. There is no good explanation for it. Why? Because they used this as a vehicle for their political agenda.
I agree with that.
And that's the stupidest thing that they could have done.
Well, the only thing I could say is that I believe that Dan Aykroyd, the reason why they did this, Dan Aykroyd's part is that he probably felt it was going to be a success to bring interest because they didn't really know how it would be or how people would react after all these years. Because sometimes they try to bring things back and it's not successful. And he figured if this is a success, then I'm going to do Ghostbusters 3 because everybody would want it. And it didn't work out that way. So you should have just not took the money in the first place, and you should have just, and Bill Murray too. Bill Murray should have just read. First of all, Bill Murray should have, at least while Harold Ramis was alive, and ready to do it. Read the damn scripts. And now I wasn't crazy about the Dan Aykroyd's script about them going to hell and all that stuff, because I feel that at that time when it would have came out, everybody was going to hell lately.
Yeah.
Jason was going to hell. Bill and Ted were going to
And
hell.
It was an oversaturation.
It was like an in thing to go to hell in that time period. Which no, how about we do something different? You know, of all the things you could do, you got to go to hell. That's stupid. So he could have did different story ideas, but they kept sticking on that same topic. They didn't make. If someone could write a script right now, right, and they make multiple scripts in a year, right? How could they hold on to the same script for like 15 years or whatever? Like, seriously, why wouldn't you write multiple things?
Because going to hell was the cash grab at the time, and they figured, let's jump on the bandwagon. And if
Bill Murray's hell no, I'm not doing that.
Because
he must have been okay with it at some point, because they were able to do the video game, which was based off of a script.
I mean, the video game was different. They did it for the fans, whatever. And
there you go.
I mean, but the thing is that we heard that some of them did Ghostbusters 2 for free. They did it for the fans, or they donated their. I mean, when I was a kid, I heard that. I saw them talking about it, and they donated their pay to charity and kids. They did it. They made it less rated R and more rated PG, because they try to make. Because again, when the movie first came out, it was not really for kids. It was like rated R. So they kind of changed it up, and they kind of made it a little, more family oriented, which probably is why it didn't do as well as the original. Sort of like WO's Cop 3 was an amusement park and no person.
Oh.
So I mean, it's a thing where
easy.
It's a difficult situation, but I love the original team the best, and it sucks because I would have loved to have them back, like anybody would. And I just know both sides of the story. It's like you can't cry about Ghostbusters 3 when they took a payout to like let them do a reboot. I mean, to me, that's like there's all these things in the background that nobody really covers. And everybody's always like, oh, the girls. Well, that Bill Murray, and they took money. So, I mean, I don't agree that they should get paid. You know what I'm saying, Chris? I'm not trying to be like, there is problems with the movie. I understand with 2016, but people can't get on Sony's case like they're the reasons that Ghostbusters 3 didn't happen. Because they wanted it many times.
It's not their fault that Ghostbusters 3 didn't happen. It's their fault that they made a bad movie and that they lost money on it. And now they want to make a sequel out of it because they don't have anything else that they can do. They're desperate. And let me tell you something else, too. If this Spider-Man universe that they're trying to do doesn't work, you're not going to be seeing many movies from Sony. They did
reveal who the one gal was, and that's Keaton's daughter.
I got to tell you.
Well, that's separate, yeah.
Chris knows I'm scared about that movie. I'm just petrified.
I 100% agree with you with Homecoming. I have a bad feeling about Homecoming.
Because I got to tell you, why. Here's the thing, right? We went to see Wonder Woman, right?
Yeah.
And that trailer with the suit was in there.
Yeah.
I heard some people were like, oh, and I heard that.
Yeah.
Like, fuck. Because it's like, people are like, somebody might, what? Like,
it's Iron Man.
What?
4. I mean,
right.
Come on.
And I wanted to address, we got a comment from Billy because, he likes the suit and he didn't understand why we were kind of saying what. And for me, and Joe, jump in, if you want. In my opinion, if you give Spider-Man all of this stuff in his suit, what is the point of his powers?
Yeah.
It's almost like if the suit can do this much, then he doesn't need it. And it's almost contradictory to what Stark says, like, oh, if you're only doing it because of the suit, you don't need it.
Well, I'm going to jump in.
Go ahead, yeah.
This whole purpose of basically anybody could put the suit on and be Spider-Man. And this is the problem that I have, okay? Peter Parker had the abilities of a spider, but he couldn't shoot spiders' webs. And the reason why he created a spider's web is not because of the formula that was embedded in his head because of spider. No, he's a friggin' genius. So he uses his brain to make web shooters that shoot webs out, right? He makes his own costume, okay? And, when stuff happens sometimes and he didn't have enough money to buy because it's very expensive to make the web fluid, he would have to figure out how am I going to survive without swinging on a web like Christians in a building or something, right?
Yep.
It was all about him using his brain to defeat the villains. And what I see happening here is that someone in Marvel is like a third generation, fourth generation newbie that they're losing. It's almost like that movie where everybody in the future gets stupider and stupider and stupider. They lost what their own character is. They lost the whole concept of why he's Spider-Man. Do they say anything about Uncle Ben? Probably not. And it's gotten so ridiculous that you would think that Marvel getting involved, it would be the greatest movie ever. And it's not. Because what we're getting is Spider-Man 3 Venom.
A watered-down version of Iron Man.
We're getting Spider-Man 3 Venom because they interfered. And Venom sucked. So that was them. So, again, they're interfering so much. They should have had Tobey Maguire in it. Should have revealed his mask to the world. Some shit, whatever. No. And nobody enjoys it better than when Tobey Maguire. So everybody, that is my favorite Spider-Man right there. Okay.
I want to add something to that too. There was a big news outlet on YouTube who got asked that question. Do you think Tobey Maguire could have come back? And the answer that they gave was so, like, I was sitting there like, are you serious? Like, this is the answer you gave? They were literally like, and I like this news outlet too. I'm not jumping on them, but they were like, oh, you couldn't have Tobey Maguire come back. He'd be playing a 17-year-old high school student.
Oh, they're idiots.
And I was like, use your friggin' head. If you were going to bring Tobey Maguire back, do you think that's the role he would be playing?
No.
Like, when I heard them say this, I was like, are you fucking stupid? Pardon my language. Like, what the hell? Who wrote this segment?
You know what? Somewhere in a Bernstein Bears universe, right? It's Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark talking to Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, in a movie. Like,
yes.
He's been around just like they've been around. Mm-hmm. And finally he asked him to be in Avengers. And he asked him to reveal his identity in the world or some shit. And it would have worked perfectly.
I think so, yeah.
Existed in that universe. And he's doing his thing in New York. In fact, I really wouldn't have had Avengers thing in New York. I would have had it, somewhere else. But, California, whatever. But okay. And you know what? It would have friggin' been fantastic. Because Civil War would have been so much better if Tobey Maguire was married to Mary Jane and revealed his freaking identity to the world.
And the Maguire revealing himself would be great. Yeah.
That movie would have did $500 million more. Or even more than that if he was in it like that.
And if they could have just kept the secret that he was coming back, that would have been good. Because everybody's thinking, okay, they're going to have the kid from the original, from the second remake. Okay, he's gonna be him. And then I think you said, or somebody says, he pulls the mask off and boom, there's Maguire.
Yeah, that's what we said it. Yeah.
I was when I heard that they were going to make him 17 or whatever, I was pissed. Or 16, whatever it was. I was like, oh, wow. And here's the thing. My greatest fear has come true. And I saw it already. Immediately because of Homecoming. The new Spider-Man cartoon shows him in that shitty hoodie effing suit. Like he's got a sock over his head. It's ridiculous. And he's fighting somebody. And I'm like, why can't you write your original shit or stick with the material? Why are you biting off of Homecoming? Stop.
Well, to be fair, they did do that in Maguire's and in Andrew Garfield's versions. Like he had a stupid suit at first, and then he moved into the better suit. But my thing is, like what you said, he made the better suit himself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And Tobey Maguire's definitely did. I don't understand. Like I can understand maybe Stark saying, "Hey, I've upgraded your web shooters." I'm perfectly fine with that.
Fine.
But my thing is, even Stark giving him the materials to make the suit, as long as Parker made it himself, that's fine. My thing is, though, and it's like what you're saying, Joe, I 100% agree with you. Why does he need all of this stuff in the suit? It's like what they wanted to do with Nick Cage's Superman. His S symbol on his chest was going to break off into a boomerang, and his cape was going to be sentient. And it's like, why does Superman need these things? He's Superman. So why does Spider-Man need these things? He's friggin' Spider-Man.
First of all, do you realize this, right? He's fighting somebody he's falling off a building, right? He has to react instantly in like a second. There's not even enough time for him to utter the word web cartridge 248. Okay? You see it when he's fighting Doc Ock, he's falling in the building. Like, how is he gonna think 584 different combinations of cartridge? Which one to use? That's bull crap. That is so insulting. I'm so mad. He has to lose the suit at the end of the movie, because if he doesn't, I'm going to be pissed.
He either has to lose it. You need to lose it at the end of the movie or midway through.
He can't have the suit.
Every time I think of Spider-Man, I think of him as the normal suit.
Can't have the suit.
And if you're going to have this cybernetic Spider-Man suit, then why the hell bother even have Peter Parker?
I mean, it's almost like one of the problems that we had with Shin Gojira. Like, they started giving him all these abilities, and it's like, he couldn't do that. Why does he need that? He's Godzilla. Here it's like, why does Spider-Man need a parachute? Why does Spider-Man need a heater? Why does Spider-Man need a drone that comes off of his chest and flies away? Why does, the web wings I like, the web wings fine.
Yeah, the web wings were pretty much, if I remember right, was originally his outfit.
But why does his suit have a built-in computer? I know that Stark built it, but there's no reason for it.
But here's the thing. How could it have a built-in computer if it's material? It's not even a metal armor. So how does that make sense?
I guess it's built into the eyes or something. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense, because if there's a built-in computer, you know what that means? That means his suit has to have some sort of power source. So what happens if a villain like Electro shorts out the power source?
Yeah. It's done.
He's fucked. Pardon my language.
And that's how they should get rid of the suit. Somebody, Electro or somebody.
Well, I thought he gets blasted. I thought he gets blasted. I thought the shocker blast him. Right, or he gets blasted with the. I mean, there was a scene in the new trailer where the bank robbers, one of them, I guess, is the Vulture.
Yeah, they blast him with whatever that weapon is. Yeah,
fucked up. Like, that's why he can't have a suit.
And I got to tell you, if they're going to have Spider-Man, swinging around the city talking to the computer in the eyes or something, if that's what they're going to do, it's like, so why is he, why is Peter Parker required for this if you could just put somebody in this suit? And like you said, Scott, and the suit can emulate his powers if, if you're going to go that direction, it could stick to walls. It can increase strength.
Well, that's stupid too. I don't even know why he has powers.
Well, you know what else? I don't remember in Civil War if he had a spider sense. I don't remember.
No. What happened was okay.
Well, what I was going to say is the suit going to take over for that and be like, Spider-Man, you're in danger? I
can't even talk about it in a minute.
Danger, Peter Parker.
I can't even explain it in a minute. But
why don't we start a new one?
Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys. Take care. Bye for now.